Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Michael Myers Monday. My name is Braden Timmons, and guys, I have had so much fun on this segment discussing Halloween every single week with you guys. So if you guys are new here, this is a segment I decided to start because I absolutely love talking about Halloween-related content on my channel. I'm currently in the midst of reviewing and doing all the kill rankings for Friday the 13th, so if you guys are interested in that, consider clicking that subscribe button because we have new Myers videos every single week, and I'm currently, again, just in the midst of reviewing a horror series, which is going to be a continuous thing. So Mondays is Myers videos, Fridays are reviews, and Sundays are kill rankings. And then, of course, if there's like news that I want to talk about in regards to Halloween, new videos come out all the time, so consider clicking that subscribe button. But today, I wanted to talk about the ultimate analysis, and that is, what the hell makes Michael Myers so gosh darn scary? It's a question that I am sure all of us have had ever since we saw Halloween for the very first time. It's something that I continuously think about. It's something that I'm sure a lot of people continuously think about, and today this is my analysis as to why I think Michael Myers is just scarier than Freddy, Jason, Ghostface, Leatherface, all of the other slashers that we know and love. What makes Michael Myers just stand out in a scary way? So I'm sure everybody remembers the first time that they saw a Halloween movie. It doesn't have to be the first Halloween, but I'm sure everybody remembers the first time that they saw a Halloween movie, just with Michael Myers. Whatever one it was, you probably remember that time. I know that I saw, I think, Halloween 2 before I saw the original Halloween, but still, there's no excuse that Michael Myers, like, growing up, I loved Freddy, I loved Jason. I thought that Freddy was kind of funny. Even though I was in, like, second grade, I still thought that he had a bit of a sense of humor, and I should be afraid of him, but I wasn't. And then, same thing with Jason. It's like Jason was just always a badass to me. I just thought that the way he killed people was always really awesome. Michael Myers, though, scared the shit out of me when I saw Halloween for the very first time. And like I said, I'm pretty sure I saw Halloween 2 before I saw the original Halloween, because it was on AMC Fear Fest. I was up and I was watching it. And this is like when my dad was introducing me to all these slashers, and he was like, now this one's Michael Myers, and for some reason, Michael just scared the shit out of me. And then when I saw the first one, I was even more terrified of him than I was watching the second one. There was just something about him. I wasn't sure as to what it was. I don't know if it was like just the breathing, like, what was it that made Michael Myers so damn scary to me? And now that I'm grown up and stuff like that, I love Michael Myers. He is my favorite slasher. And I think even today, it's just because he is the scariest to me. Today, I still think Freddy is hilarious, Jason is badass, and Michael Myers is just plainly terrifying. And I think one of the reasons is that Michael Myers doesn't have a motive as to why it is he wants to kill. Whereas all the other slashers all have motives, Michael Myers never does. So I truly think that, obviously this is something that I had to learn and grow into while I have watched the movies over the years, but it's something that really makes Michael stand out, because when we now compare to the other slashers, they all have motives as to why it is they want to kill. So let's look at some of our other favorite slashers and see exactly how they differentiate from Michael. So let's take Jason, for example. Jason wants revenge for drowning and killing his mother. That's exactly what Jason wants to do. Anybody who steps foot on Camp Crystal Lake, they are doomed, because he is out for revenge and he's there to kill the camp counselors, because it was counselors that let him drown. It was a counselor that killed his mother. Jason wants revenge for anybody that steps foot on Camp Crystal Lake. Freddy, a pedophile and a psychotic child murderer who wants revenge on the children and parents of Elm Street, mostly the children, because that's who he haunts in their dreams, who were directly responsible for his death. We know that very clearly. We know exactly why Freddy is out for revenge, why he wants to haunt these children's dreams. We know exactly what his motive and purpose is for killing. Norman Bates from Psycho. He clearly has mother issues and has some personality disorders that gives him an excuse to kill. We see that in Psycho. We find that out at the very end of the movie. Ghostface. Ghostface has multiple killers with a lot of different motives each time. Even when Billy said in the original that there was no motive, There was. He was pissed off because his mom abandoned him because of Sydney's mother sleeping with his father, and that was his motive. So even though he didn't want to tell Sydney the motive, there was still a motivation behind why him and Stu were going after Sydney. It was mostly Billy because he had more of the impact, he had more of the loss. He just convinced Stu to help him so that there would be two different killers. And now Michael Myers, aka the Boogeyman or the Shape, is purely and simply evil. There is no motivation for why he killed Judith Myers in the beginning of Halloween. In the very beginning of Halloween, when we see Michael Myers from his point of view going into the kitchen to get the kitchen knife, there is never any explanation ever in Halloween as to why it is he killed Judith Myers. We have zero idea as to why that is. We never need to know why that is. That would make Michael Myers way too personable. It would make him way too much of a character, and that's what I'm getting into now next. I honestly think that that is what one of the best parts of Halloween 2018 was. When Dana and Aaron are both at Laurie's house for the very first time, and Dana, she says that they're trying to understand Michael Myers. Her line is, Michael Myers is a human being that killed his sister and then came after you. We just want to know why. There is no motivation. There is nothing for them to know. They don't need to know why because we don't even know why. And then Aaron, while they were at Smith's Grove, he even tells this to Michael. This is when Michael's faced the opposite way in that courtyard, and he says, we have been following your case for years and we still know very little about you. We'd like to know more about that night, about those involved. And the beginning of Halloween 2018 does have some of the best writing in that movie. I really do think that they did a damn good job in the opening act of that movie. The fact that Aaron and Dana were at Smith's Grove trying to interview Michael, trying to talk to Michael to see if they can get a glimpse inside his mind. This shows exactly that there is no motivation because Aaron says, we've been following your case for years and we still know very little about you. Think about that. Now let's jump back to the original, what John Carpenter and Dr. Loomis say about Michael Myers. John Carpenter has openly stated that he is the absence of character. You cannot technically consider Michael Myers a character because of his blank, pale, emotionless face that he has. He is simply a force of nature. That's what John Carpenter has said about him for decades, is that he is only a force of nature. He's not a character. He's got the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes, what he wrote in for Dr. Loomis's character, and that he's just the absence of character. He's purely and simply evil. One of my favorite scenes in Halloween, and I'm sure that this is everybody's favorite Dr. Loomis scene, but it's when he's giving his monologue about how he spent 8 years trying to reach Michael Myers and then another 7 trying to keep him locked up because what was behind those boys' eyes was purely and simply evil. That's all we need to know about Michael Myers, guys. That's it. Michael Myers is that fear that you have of if you're walking home alone at night and you think somebody's watching you. Michael Myers is that person. This is the movie that put that into a lot of people's minds, that they can't be walking down a dark street at night, and if they think somebody's watching them, Michael Myers is probably that person. Tommy Doyle refers to the boogeyman several times in Halloween, and when he sees Michael Myers standing outside over by the Wallace's house, he says, Laurie, the boogeyman's outside, which is why Michael is known as the boogeyman, why he's known as the Shape. And this is my favorite part of this analysis, and we're going to talk about why he's known as the Shape. Michael Myers is so patient. He is so stealthy, the way that he stalks his victims. He waits in the shadows until the time is just right. So now let's jump back to some of the other slashers that we know. Jason, I literally just reviewed Friday the 13th Part 3, and he makes a huge entrance when it comes to trying to go after the final girl, Chris, in the movie. He throws Rick's body through the window, and then he just enters the frame, jumping in and chasing her. And I'm jumping a little ahead of myself for this week, but this week we're talking about the final chapter, and in the final chapter, Jason tries to sneak up on Trish, and Trish can hear him and swings a machete at him, allowing for her to put up a fight. Michael Myers, on the other hand, is patient and doesn't need to make a big entrance. In Halloween, when he is stalking, he is always doing so from a distance. In fact, the first close-up that we ever see, that we ever see of the Michael Myers mask in Halloween is when he picks up the phone after he strangles Linda with the cord and he's listening to Laurie's voice. That's the first time that we ever see a close-up of Michael's face. Everything else in the movie was always from a distance. Speaking of when he kills Linda, he is so patient just standing in the doorway as Bob's ghost. He doesn't even respond. He waits for Linda to have her back turned on him, and then he starts to approach her when he knows that he has her in the position that he wants her. It's like she is the prey, and that's what makes him so scary. And finally, when he attacks Laurie, how he hides in the shadows and you just see the light slowly start to shine on his face, and then boom, he makes his move. As Laurie starts to walk away, you see him swing that knife down, and that's how she gets her scar. And honestly, there's probably a lot of people that's like, how did he miss? He like had her right where he wanted her. Especially because in the later movies, like how he approaches people and sticks the knife, you know, through their back and through their spine and like lifts them off the ground. And people can argue that stuff all day, but having a reason behind that would just humanize him. We don't need to know that. We don't need to know why. We just need to enjoy the movie and enjoy Michael Myers for what he is, purely and simply evil. These are the elements, guys, that makes Michael Myers so damn scary. It's just the fact that he has no motivation. He just wants to kill. That's it. And actually, that's one of my favorite lines in the Halloween Returns script, which I did read, and I do plan on covering that sometime in the near future on this channel, because the Halloween Returns script is probably one of the best Halloween concepts that I've ever heard in my life. But there's a line towards the end of that script where the new doctor says to his daughter, and he says he doesn't just want to kill us, he wants to kill everyone. And man, I get chills. I'm getting chills right now just thinking about it, because that is such a damn good Halloween line. That is something that explains Michael Myers in the simplest form, is that he has no motivation. He just wants to kill everybody that gets in his way. Which is also why John Carpenter in Halloween 2 didn't necessarily like the fact that he humanized him when he gave a motivation as to why he was after Laurie Strode. Michael Myers is just someone that has no emotion. He is evil in human form. And that's all we need to know about him. We need to know that he's the boogeyman, that he's the shape, that he is just purely and simply evil, and that is what makes Michael Myers so scary. His lack of motivation. The fact that he will just kill anybody for no reason whatsoever besides the fact that he gets pleasure out of doing so. So yeah, guys, that's all I wanted to talk about today, guys. Post your guys' comments down below. Let me know. What do you guys think? What do you think of my Halloween analysis? And when was the first time that you ever saw Halloween? Why does Michael Myers scare you so much, more than some of the other slashers that you may be terrified of? So leave those comments in the comment section. I'd absolutely love to read them. And as always, if you guys like this, don't forget to join me on my journey to 5,000 subscribers. And if there is no big Halloween news that comes out this week, I will see you guys in my review for Friday the 13th, the final chapter, this upcoming Friday.